pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll begin with a roll call, please.
Mac Rankin.
Here.
Ben Metzger. Rob Keller.
Here.
Eric Christensen.
Here.
Tim Mills.
Here.
Ryan Worling. Sue Wilson.
Here. All right, we have a quorum of all the members. Call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is board member reports. Go ahead, Sue.
No, I just, the middle school staff did some really cool things for Level Up. They played some competitions with the kids, basketball and this and that, so it was a really good environment. And they also did a Masked Singer kind of thing where some of the teachers dressed up into complete outfits and sang and stuff like that. So just some really good feedback, and those are the things the kids remember when you ask them how their week was. So awesome job, middle school. That's all I got.
Anyone else?
Well, we were here last Monday night for our work session with IASB. Spent several hours as a group working through our overall responsibility as board members and how we differentiate the difference between what our role is and what the administration's role is. And I think our takeaway was that was a really good opportunity for us to kind of get back to the basics and remember what our position looks like. We're going to hopefully kind of talk about later tonight, continuing that. So looking forward to that. On Thursday evening, I was able to join another IASB workshop for presidents, really kind of diving into the same information that we talked about on Monday, and how board presidents can really work hand in hand with their board and with the superintendent on creating good relationship between the two. That was about an hour and 20 minutes on Thursday night, so really enjoyed that, and was hoping to have an email out to everybody to kind of share some thoughts and ideas, but I haven't been able to get that off my list yet, so more to come on that. Good news.
And I'm going to dovetail off of what you just stated. In front of you are, on Monday we kind of referenced these, just some governance and questions to keep us focused on what the roles and responsibilities are. And so we'll have those. If you just want to leave them after each board meeting, we'll just continue to put them down. If you want to take a picture of them, whatever, please do. Also, the governance core is what Lou referenced several times during our meeting, and so it's here for you to reference. I have not crosswalked the governance core 2.0 with the governance core the original, with the page numbers, but I will do that and get that to you from her packet in there. This is the most updated version of it. So, other good news is if on Thursday, January 23rd, the Chamber is having their event. Erin Lester is our Educator of the Year for the Chamber. Mac will be honored that night, as well as Sue. And so if anybody wants to attend that, if you could let me know by tomorrow so I can let the Chamber know for how many we need at a table, at our table. So if you could just let me know if you want to be there, and your spouse or a significant other, just let me know so I have a head count for the Chamber. You'll also know, on Facebook, ISB did do a post on your work together, and so that is on their Facebook page as well as our Facebook page. Just because I think it's important that the community knows that as leaders of education, that you are also learning along with the students, so that's out there.
Is that eating French salt pie?
Say it one more time.
Yes. Wes.
It was, yes.
It was awesome
Facebook
pie.
and LinkedIn.
Mr. Christensen was holding his pie. You had just taken a spoonful of it, so.
It was a good pie.
I took a brief pause to see if there was.
Anything else?
Anything
I'm
else?
sorry, yes,
No,
I
you're good.
interrupted you.
You're good. Next item is delegations, petitions, and communications.
We don't have anyone looking to speak to the board tonight.
Okay. Letter E is the consent agenda. There was 2 updates to that today. There was an additional transportation request for an out-of-state basketball trip, as well as baseball, sorry, apologize, as well as updated personnel file, which is on the table in front of you. Any questions or items on the consent agenda that need to be pulled? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Ben to approve.
Second.
Seconded by Eric. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Letter F is presentations. Shelley?
We just have one tonight. Our building presenter, Brooke Mendoza, had a family commitment that she couldn't get out of tonight. So we had to switch last minute, so Shelley and Abby are on tonight. Your turn.
All right. So I'm Abigail Costigan. I'm the food service director here for Indianola, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about school wellness and our policy. So, all right. So since healthier school environments help students learn and their behavior, our committee is committed to making sure Indianola helps kids make healthier food choices and be more physically active. So that is what our committee is based on and what we're focused on. As many of you already know, kids with healthier eating patterns and who get enough physical activity tend to have better grades, remember what they are taught, behave better in class, and miss less school. So better health equals better learners, and that's what we all want. So as far as our policy, which our committee looks over annually, we do a triannual assessment to make sure that we're following our policy the best that we can, any improvements we want to make, and we did that last year. So just to touch on the policy and what it's based off of, we focus on nutrition education, physical activity, foods and drinks that are sold to students, the nutrition requirements for all foods that are sold to schools, including snacks and school meals, the nutrition guidelines for foods and beverages, not necessarily just sold to students, but provided to students through like class parties, fundraisers, things like that. And then food marketing, anything that you see, posters, things like that, we monitor all those things. And then lastly, just informing the community, leadership, and many more about our wellness goals. So because I'm the food service director, I'm going to focus a little bit more on the food that's sold. And just to kind of give you some education on not necessarily the meals for breakfast and lunch, because those all have standards by USDA that we follow, but also to kind of give you a background of what is sold to our students for like a la carte or classroom caterings, because those have requirements and USDA guidelines as well. And this also includes like our vending machines, any fundraisers that they have within the school, and school stores. So we have a calculator that all of our items are ran through, and it's called a Smart Snack Calculator. And we put in the nutritionals, and it tells us if it's compliant or not. And one thing that I find very interesting, or I did, is we sell a lot of things that you could probably see in grocery stores. And sometimes it's like, well, how is that compliant? So for example, Flaming Hot Cheetos, things you've probably seen in the stores. We sell this at our secondary level, and it is compliant. But with that being said, and I'll pass some examples around, there's Flaming Hot Cheetos, Frosted Flakes, cereal, and even Pop-Tarts. So you can see that my little forms I'm gonna send around. One's the grocery store product and one's the school product. So, one thing is manufacturers, they make foods specific for K through 12 schools. So when you look at those items, even though it's the same name brand, they specifically market to K through 12 schools. So they focus on whole grains, less sugar, among other nutrients for these items. So just interesting fact for you guys. And obviously if you have any more questions, let me know. All right. So the last thing that I wanted to focus on is staff wellness. That is one thing that our committee wanted to focus on a little bit more this year. So one thing that we did last May is we promoted Mental Health Awareness Month, which was in May, and we basically said, hey, well, let's walk 1 mile each day in May. And so anybody who participated got a green ribbon, and it was just an honor system, but it was something that staff could do just to kind of put health first and kind of remind people to, hey, take a little bit of a breather and walk. We also participated in the Iowa Healthiest State 14th annual walk on October 2nd and just promoted people to walk 30 minutes that day, either beginning or the end of the day. Coming up, we have the American Heart Month in February. So we will be promoting the Wellbeing Incentive Program for our staff, and we are trying to increase our participation of the on-site biometric screening, which is happening on February 21st. Also coming up, National Sleep Awareness Month is in March, along with Nutrition Month, and then again in May, rolling around with the Mental Health Awareness Month. We will do something again. And I wanted to leave you with information for our next Wellness Committee meeting because we are always looking for more people to join. We meet virtually every quarter and it's Wednesday, February 19th at 3:30. And if you would like information for the link, just contact me or the food service office and we will get that to you. And that is it.
Abby, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How many of our staff employees are participating or did participate in the Walk a Mile a Day in May?
Oh, I would have to look at my form.
Like just ballpark, like you have 20 names on the form or you have like a good 75?
I would say about 50 maybe.
Okay.
30 to 50. And like I said, we didn't hold you to it, like it was just an honor thing, but we sent everybody a green ribbon that they just safety pinned. And I had one staff member that said, hey, I lost 5 pounds that month. So it was nice.
Do you have somebody from every building on that committee or is that a volunteer?
That's a goal. So we had, with our triennial assessment that we had to do, it was a lot of paperwork and stuff last year. This year it's more focused on like activities and things that we can do. But our goal is to have someone from each building, which I know it's hard, schedules are hard, but yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Abby.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Rob Keller. I was just wondering, do you know what is our participation rate like in elementary, middle school, and high school levels for just the normal breakfast and lunch programs that we have? And have those rates been going down over the years, going up over the years? Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So I will say like our breakfast numbers are lower, but not any lower than any other school, I would say. Breakfast numbers are just hard. We always encourage kids to come to breakfast, but it depends on transportation, it depends on bus schedules, things like that. Do they eat at home? Do they not? We serve grab-and-go breakfast for any late buses or anybody who needs it. We serve breakfast all the way up until like 9 for any student that might be late. But as far as numbers go, I mean, our percentages are about what they've been. Like they don't fluctuate too much. During National School Breakfast Week, we usually have a larger impact, but that's because we do fun things and encourage kids to participate. As far as our lunch numbers, we are serving more lunches this year than last year. Buildings kind of depend on enrollment and things like that. But overall, I feel like we're doing a lot of good things for our lunch program. We're having a lot more options for kiddos. Because one of our main goals is we want kids to get something in their bellies to last them the rest of the day. So we offer chicken nuggets as an option. We have a yogurt meal that's an option, and then the main entree, which that's a lot of options for elementary. I know when I was in school, you only had one, and that's what you got. So that's one thing that we're trying to do is just make sure they have something that they'll eat to get them through the day. So as far as the participation, I mean, obviously I always want more people to eat. And always we're adding more scratch recipes. We had turkey and noodles last week at the elementary. They loved it, and it was really good. We served cavatelli at the middle school the other day. So we're trying to bring back some more scratch recipes that my staff enjoy doing and the kids enjoy too. So.
Do we have options for gluten-free or dairy-free or vegetarian and stuff like that available, readily available?
So we have a yogurt meal that is offered every day at all levels. And then we have a gluten-free menu that is published and I will tell you it's more used at elementary levels, but it's available.
Okay.
And then, I mean, we have multiple options for different allergies. We're, peanut aware at the younger schools, so we don't serve that. But for the most part, I mean, if we can accommodate, we do.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. And Stacy Strong was going to come tonight and wasn't able to make it. But the next slide, she put this all together, just to kind of give you guys a rundown. The biometrics, but this is staff oriented, so benefits, that type of thing. Last June, we offered a biometric screening to all staff and their spouses, and at no charge. So even if they didn't have insurance, even if they weren't on any of our district insurance plans, they were invited to participate, and she has the number there. They had 108 people, looks like, took part of it, and then they got a $75 wellness bonus for participating. That helps the district too. Mercy Health said some people, they caught things really early at other places that they've offered this, and that's always a benefit to everybody. So by doing the screening early on, I'm repeating myself, but you can catch some things that you wouldn't normally find at your normal physical. They don't always do, kind of hard to read that center thing. They don't always check your calcium, iron, uric acid, complete blood counts at every annual physical, but this one is a little bit more intense. Also, this year they started a new, there's a form there on the side. It's a wellness, what would you call that, Jen?
It's a compliance form, right? Yeah.
If an employee does an annual eye exam, an annual dental exam, watch a Stress Buster video, watch the employee resources video, and then participate in the on-site biometrics, or else get a physical and have the biometrics done. You can submit this and win prizes and money, so that's also a little incentive for people there. Through professional development this year, the staff have had grief-sensitive training for students, and while doing that, they learn about resources available to them as well. And then, as far as an employee assistance program, we have an embedded program within our long-term disability policy today. And this is all in your packets, but the different things that it can help them with, if somebody is struggling with an alcohol or drug addiction, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, family conflicts, marital difficulties, there's a number to call, and they give you a few no-cost confidential resources and help, and they'll refer you if needed. There are other plans that districts can purchase. Sometime down the road, we might look into those. They're very expensive right now, so we're trying to see, I guess, if that could ever be something that we could offer, but we wanted to check the numbers of use for the Employee Assistance Program that we have right now. Low numbers are using it, so before we paid for something for everybody, we wanted to kind of see how that went, so. And then, as Abby said, February 21st is our biometric screening day for this year, so they're offering that, again, for all staff and their spouses, and hope to see more than 180 people there.
Where does that take place?
It'll be at Whittier Elementary Gym.
All right, any questions for Shelley?
Awesome.
Thanks, Shelley. Moving into discussion on action items. G1 is teaching and learning with the committee report.
Is that curriculum?
Yes, sorry.
That was the one from December, Oh, before December break. Rob, I think you should take it. Sorry, I don't That's remember. okay, I can speak to it Can you briefly here. please speak Yeah, to it? absolutely. So we had talked about some high school course proposals that'll be coming. I believe Jeff will be bringing them in February instead of this month. But making sure we have supports in place for our English speakers of other languages, and adding in a research inquiry methods course. Right now, we have one that is for very high level student needs, which would fall more into the gifted and talented range. But because we know students really need to be able to have research skills, adding in another level of option for them. And the other one is, about a year and a half ago, I had talked with the curriculum committee about a type of math course, which really takes math skills and places it into like construction and plumbing and electrical trades. And that particular course wasn't working out. And so by further looking into our options, this math and the trades came to my knowledge, where a Drake professor has developed this in coordination with the labor union in Des Moines. And a lot of the skills that students need, if they were going to go into an apprenticeship program, they were saying these are the math skills that they're failing out on. So this curriculum was developed to match up with our Iowa academic standards in math. And so this is one that one of our math teachers at the high school is highly interested in also. So we'd like to insert this in second semester next year as an option for students. Currently, right now, it doesn't include all of the standards that would match up to the level of Algebra 2, but it's supposed to be rewritten for that this summer. So another pathway for students to hopefully engage them in math, and to get that rigor there and support them in the learning pathway that they're choosing. So more information on those will be in the course proposals that Jeff would bring next month in terms of their descriptions for those. The second one that we had briefly talked about, and Tara is the one leading that with you as the board, were just plans for if there was inclement weather, what are some of the choices in terms of snow days, learning days for teachers. And the third option there, or the third topic, was memorandums of understanding. We know that our Heartland AEA is continuing to undergo different changes, different legislation that is driving changes at their level. So we were just talking about the possible need of some MOUs going into next year to make sure we still have partnerships with people to continue the work that we want to keep going strong. People that might possibly are familiar with our district and know where we're at and how to help us grow. And the last one there was an update on literacy work. You can glance over Ben's shoulder there to the Wildly Important Goals board. And that is kind of based, well, it is based off of the 4 disciplines of execution, where you identify a wildly important goal and you go after it. Everybody needs to be focused towards that, trying to make that growth. And that was an example of each one of our administrative weekly meetings. We touch base on, did we individually meet our goals towards our work towards literacy? What were some of our barriers? And Tara is following up with principals at her weekly meetings to also help troubleshoot any barriers that are in place that keep us from that work of dedicating hopefully at least 20% of our time on that wildly important goal. So also trying to, again, if we're expecting this type of model from our teachers and our professional learning teams, our building leadership teams, then we as administrators should engage in that work also. so.
Said this at the work session, but I thought it was pretty cool to get that email over winter break. I think it was winter break that talked about what our district literacy goal is. So all the parents that opened that email saw that, and then you gave a suggestion on how you could help us reach that, right? Like just read with your kid for 20 minutes a day, and that will help our overall goal. So I don't think we've ever had something like put into action like that to kind of help it. So that was awesome. Thank you for covering that.
You're welcome. Any questions for curriculum? Next item is the finance report.
I think in monthly reports, there isn't anything of special note. I will say, if you look in support services and other categories for 24-25 in November, on the budget report, you do see some higher numbers there. Some of that, the biggest bulge in support services that we finally got some buses in after months of waiting, several of them in fact, and so remember, this report is for all funds, and in this case, the transportation falls under support services, and that's why you have a bulge there. And then, of course, obviously, the last line for other includes construction at the high school, and so that's really kind of on pace, but that's why that number obviously a lot larger than what we had last year. Otherwise, the rest of them are for your consideration and review.
Jen, can you talk a little bit about childcare and the conversations you've had? Because we're almost we are $100,000, $110,000 less this year than last year at this time. Do you know what that's attributed to?
Well, some of that is timing. Are you looking at balance sheet then?
I'm sorry, yes, I'm looking at your
Okay.
balance sheet.
Some of that is timing as far as recording revenues in from particularly the state. But I haven't necessarily identified anything in particular yet for that fund, but obviously something we'll keep watching.
Because that's one that we'll have to keep in the black.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that's trickiest about both nutrition fund and child care fund is that those are accounted for even in a balance sheet format on an accrual basis. So you have to figure in items like inventories in there, but your accounts payable, accounts receivable are handled a little bit differently, and if you have equipment and stuff like that. So, and everyone's favorite, the assessment of IPER's liability.
Any other questions on finance reports? Next is the finance committee, the facilities committee meeting report from January 2nd.
Can do that. What did we talk about? Just basically gave an update on the high school renovation project, where we're at. Anyone who's driven by recently can obviously see there's a lot of steel going up and the precast walls. So that's, everything there is going well. We talked about the district operations center, just kind of finalizing some last minute not last minute, just finalizing some of the things that need fixed and settled on that. So that's moving along.
So do we have so we don't really have that it's all 100% up and running yet? Like, how does that process go? Are we waiting for the last,
They're
assessment?
working on punch list items. So the punch list is like your final thing. You go through and you look, okay, the paint's off here. One of the things over there right now are the front doors. They're not latching the way they're supposed to. And so that needs to be fixed before we sign off on that.
So it's us signing off with our contractors saying this building is complete?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And the architect is in there making sure that, yep, it's built to spec and yep, that works.
Okay.
So the architect, the owner, and the contractor all have to agree that this is complete before we
Okay.
write that final check.
baseball and softball renovation projects again. We kind of talked more about a timeline of when that would start, be after the completion of this upcoming season, with it being completed to be ready to go the following season. And then, Bernie and his crew been doing a lot of on their own, in particular the dugouts, and have really saved some good significant money on that, doing it themselves. And then that's about it. You remember anything else?
I think that last one is about the pool, right?
Yeah.
That's about.
Yeah.
2088 was.
Yeah. Other than that, it's been kind of like Groundhog's Day on the facility committee, high school. High school.
Any questions for facilities? Okay. Next item under G2C is the consideration for approval of dropout prevention application to the SBRC for modified supplemental amount. That amount's $1,342,237. Any discussion on that? Questions?
What, are there funding categories for the at-risk that money can be used for? Like what, you know what I'm saying? Like, will you help me understand just some of the things that?
It is very specific to your at-risk determined population.
Right.
So your at-risk coordinators, our online learning center, instructors.
So it can go towards their salaries, it can go towards building our program, or?
Yep, and it can go towards some of our counseling, it can't go towards all of that, because all of they're not dealing just with at-risk populations. And so it's very specific to the definition that you have of what at-risk is. And then the funding source is a 75% state, 25% local property tax.
Okay.
In there.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion for approval.
For the modified supplemental amount and supplemental aid for dropout prevention.
Motion made by Sue, seconded by Tim. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next item is superintendent. And first item under that is board policies. This is a second reading from November, as there was not a December policy committee meeting. There have been no updates to the policies since the first reading. Any questions on any of those? Otherwise, entertain a motion for the second reading.
Make a motion to approve the second reading.
Motion made by Eric to approve the second reading of the stated policies. Seconded by Ryan. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next item is the board work session. You should have received an email from Mrs. Paul in regards to a work session on Monday, February 12th, following our regular board meeting, where Lou would come back from IASB to continue the conversation from last week.
Make a motion that we set Monday, February 10th, immediately following the regular board meeting, our next work session with IASB.
Motion made by Tim,
Second?
seconded by Eric. Any discussion? Any conflicts? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Do we need to have anything specifically prepared for that?
No, this will probably be more of.
Read the whole book.
Read the whole book.
Okay, got it.
Thorough
But
notes.
in kind of our planning, you know, on Monday, we kind of went in a lot of different directions, and I think we really need it. We're gonna kind of bring it back to, here's what kind of role was it, was it like in policy and decision making?
Next item is the board calendar. I believe this Thursday is HR. Next Tuesday is finance. Next Thursday is policy. The following Tuesday is technology. And then we skip out for a little while before we hit February and get into facilities on February 6th, the board meeting and work session on the 10th, and so on and so forth. Any conflicts with any of those, or admin, any of those dates that the board needs to take off of their calendars?
Oh, goodness. So Ray Technology would be the 21st, right?
28th. Everything good? Okay. Anything more on your end?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we've covered it.
Okay. With that, if there's anything else from the board?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion made by Ryan to adjourn.
I'll second.
Seconded by Sue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0, we're adjourned.